that this will be an amazing drafting challenge for these competitors today. Just a 2-mile circuit at high speeds. And of course, my name is Trevor Greenfield, and I'll be in the booth as always, bringing you the live, uninterrupted, commercial-free, advertising-free play call all race long, as I have been since round 3 of the PMRL's inaugural season. And again, so glad to have you with us. As you see there on your screen, additional graphics also provided from Vilda Wallen. You can find her over at Vopsy iRacing on Instagram. And so the cars are just getting about ready to head out onto the track for qualifying. We're just finishing up practice. So of course, last week's big talk of the week, besides our Silverstone race getting taken down by Formula One management, thank you so much. Actually, the biggest talk was, of course, Will Lyon coming through with the amazing victory at Silverstone on fuel strategy, being able to take that win from the points leader, Alex Salmon. And therefore, you can see, as we take a look at the driver standings following round number 8, it is Will Lyon taking over the top spot from Alex Salmon. That is not going to make Alex very happy, as it looked like Alex had just climbed back into that first spot. So Alex is going to have work cut out for him here at Auto Club. Not an easy track to get everything that you want. There's so much drafting to do out there. So we've got a number of cars already on track right now. Let's go ahead and take a look as they begin qualifying here. Of course, this just being an 8-minute qualifying, solo qualifying out there. Go on board with Matthew Levine. And as Matthew heads around the track, first lap is still yet to be put in by anybody. Actually, we do have Mark Hutchinson putting in a fast lap already, but Thomas Klessens will go to the top, and now the times are starting to come in. Levine putting in a lap, good enough only for 4th. Now we see Thomas Christensen putting in also a lap at the top of the board at 32.52, and just as soon as I could say that, teammate Jesper Orman now putting in pole position worthy lap there, 32.52, tied down to the 100th with Thomas Christensen, but down to the thousandths, it's Jesper Orman already on pole position. And Orman now up into the pole, so it's Jesper Orman, Thomas Christensen, and Matthew Turner now shown in 3rd. David Soranzo now on track. And we will be right back with more qualifying coverage. And as we come back here, let's take a look at where everyone is qualified. It is Jesper Orman still on pole. As we await some of the other drivers, I see that Oscar Fredrickson is out there. We'll see if we can get over to Oscar Fredrickson's lap. Nope, that's only good enough for 10th. And so it's looking, everybody just jumping out there for the pole position lap, or to qualify for pole position for this qualification effort. Everybody getting out in the first 2 minutes, leaving us about 5 minutes to talk to ourselves, which is fantastic. A number of drivers, Sam Blackwood, Magnus Anderson, Will Ashworth, not yet getting in laps, so we await their efforts. And in the meantime, we can kind of skip around here take a look at some of our other point standings while we await everyone else to exit the pits and come out and entertain us, dazzle us with a fast lap around Auto Club Speedway. Of course, it's not always been Auto Club Speedway. When it was first built, California Speedway Auto Club coming on board later on. And so, well, let's go ahead and I guess while we're awaiting the end of the session, we'll just go ahead and take a look at the current team standings as well. We took a look earlier at the point standings for the drivers and now the team standings. And this is where it also gets interesting because it's not just trying to make sure that we have everything going here correctly. Yes, in fact, so we're just watching to see. And in fact, that's it for qualifying. So the remaining drivers did not take a qualifying lap and will start at the back of the pack. And so you see the team standings there, SMS Racing. So with Alex Salmon falling down, part of TM Racing, they're falling down last week to Will Lyon, who won. That will move TM Racing into second and SMS into the top. A number of teams hanging steady with where they came in at before last week. As you can see, a number of teams could move around in the standings there for third place potentially, with Team Spirit Box not very far away from that third spot, and many other teams represented just by a sole driver in the field. And so we look to see what they can do for their team and get their name out there against these bigger teams with more representation, SMS and TM and Wyvern Racing with O'Connor Moore. And so the drivers now out on track for their warm-up session before today's race. And let's see, we've got Taylor Mills back in the field, which is excellent for us. Taylor, race winner here at Pocono. And so Taylor coming back, so excited, and we'll get a chance to see her in action. Another oval, another chance to see Taylor Mills up there in victory lane. And I was watching ahead of time. She was running with all of her teammates there at TM Racing in formation 1, 2, 3, kind of like you see there with Alex Salmon. And it was pretty exciting to watch. TM Racing's really got their act together as far as this whole iRacing thing goes. But don't count out some of the front runners here, like David Soranzo, out there at the moment getting ready for today's race. A lot of these drivers using this warm-up session to familiarize themselves with the pit-in procedures and getting down to speed on pit entry, etc. And Soranzo, of course, still up there in the points. We'll take another look at those points here on your screen. When you can find your favorite driver. Only got a moment as we were coming in. I thought we might have a qualifying session filled with action. It turned out everybody wanted to go out at exactly the same time. So Will Lyon, of course, leading your points, and Alex Salmon there in second. Andreas Eick in third. David Soranzo in fourth, and Phil Lee in fifth. And you can see how close, basically third back to sixth place in the championship, just separated by 20 points or so. So it's really anybody's championship to potentially come home with third. I think it's going to be a little difficult for Andreas Eick to get up there and be able to challenge Alex Salmon and Will Lyon, but again, anything can happen here. And when I mean anything can happen is you never know when drivers are going to have a good race, when they're going to have a bad race. People may tangle, but either way, it looks like if Eick wants to have a chance at that third position and possibly second position and be able to defend that, it's going to need a strong showing here today. Andreas Eick is going to need potentially a win or a second place to be able to capitalize and hold on to that third place. And definitely it's kind of the performance we might look to see out of Eick as Mark Johnston makes an appearance puts it into second for this short warm-up session. Got about 45 seconds to go. And again, I am looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to it? Let us know over in the YouTube chat room. But this should be edge of your seat excitement. I was watching some of the practice going on earlier with, again, TM Racing and a number of the other racers, and everybody really looking super racy ahead of time. They were not holding back. Very aggressive lines. And this driver right here, I would say still has something to prove this season. I think there is definitely a win on the table for this driver, Andreas Eick. We've seen Andreas successful in just about every series that he's competed in, and always up in the top of the points, and got one of the coolest looking cars out there, if I do say so. So we just finished this warm-up session, about ready to get rolling here out on track, and we will get some info coming your way. So we're going to take a look at the official grid on your screen here in just a moment. Always working exactly as I intended to. Jesper Orman there on your pole position for today's race. And of course, by resetting everything, I've lost where I was in the software. Oh, I love technology. It's so fun, especially when it glitches out on you on live broadcasting. You gotta love it. So we get ready to go here. I hope you're all set. We'll get our end all fixed here, and we are going to have an afternoon, like I said, of edge of your seat action here at Auto Club Speedway. Look for a lot of great, maybe some fuel saving, yes, but a lot of great passing as well. So they will start side by side. It is essentially teammates Jesper Orman and Thomas Christensen for Three Crowns Racing. And there you see just behind Matthew Turner as well, part of that Three Crowns Racing organization. So top three spots taken up by those drivers. You see just behind Andreas Eick racing for Team Talent. And of course, David Soranzo, Christian Malkorek. So we'll take one more look at the starting grid today, and it is Orman starting next to Christensen, Turner next to Eick, Soranzo, Malkorek, Lyon, Mills, Salmon, Fredrickson, Klesson starting next to Grossberger, and the rest on your screen as we get set to go. It will be Jesper Orman in that beautifully flashy dark blue and gold livery for Three Crowns Racing, leading us to the green flag, and we are underway for 125 laps of action, I guess. Not 126. Here we go. Jesper Orman into turn one, and just like that, Matthew Turner around teammate Thomas Christensen and into second. Andreas Eick holding tight in fourth, and David Soranzo in fifth. And there you can see for the lead, Matthew Turner to the lead. Jesper Orman and Thomas Christensen still fighting it out for second place. We've got some battling going on for fourth and fifth. It's Andreas Eick and David Soranzo side by side, and Malkorek now slots in behind Mills. Mills up 2 positions. Keep your eye on Taylor Mills. We can see these drivers battling it out already, not willing to concede anything. As you see, Matthew Turner down to the inside of teammate Jesper Orman, taking over the slot first, taking over the first position. Matthew Turner there, turning in the fastest lap time of the race thus far, a 32.71, getting credit for leading that lap. And Jesper Orman, the teammate, will come back forward to take the first position. We take a look further back at our championship contenders. This is Will Lyon right alongside of Matthew Levine and Alex Salmon. So the two championship contenders now basically nose to tail. And what could this possibly mean for these drivers? Will Lyon there in front, just behind Matthew Levine, and just behind that, Alex Salmon. There we take a look at Thomas Klessens, one of our podium earners from Pocono. And just lots of battling continue through the field as we go back up to the front. It's Matthew Turner in the lead. Up 2 spots today already, with Jesper Orman and Thomas Christensen just behind. Andreas Eick hanging out in 4th spot, and David Soranzo just behind in 5th. As these teammates continue to swap draft through turn 1 and 2, it's looking like a 3 Crowns Racing 1, 2, 3 at the moment, as we have a problem in the back. Alex Salmon is involved, your series points leader. I'm seeing a number of drivers, Thomas Klessens, Magnus Anderson, Mark Hutchinson also caught in that mess. Is Blackwood caught? Yes, we can see damage to the left front of Sam Blackwood's car. Connor Pearson, it looks like perhaps escaping that one. Well, we'll go back and take a look as we have gone yellow here. And of course, we do have the wrong information in the upper left-hand corner. This is the PMRL, Prime Meridian Racing League, and our software some days is worth $1 million, and some days I would give it away if anybody asked. But we continue to work with our program here and try and bring you the best possible coverage that we can. Appreciate everybody being patient with us. So we are under caution here, and that's a good time for all of these drivers to get their issues sorted out. We'll do the same. So a couple of drivers taking advantage of the caution period, coming down to get their damage fixed, as you can see. There's Sam Blackwood on pit road, as well as Thomas Klessens, Magnus Anderson, all receiving service. Looks like Johnston also coming down to take service. So we get set to go next time by, and it is Orman leading Turner and Christensen here under yellow with Andreas Eick, David Soranzo, Oscar Fredrickson, Christian Malkorek, Taylor Mills, Michael Grossberger, Matthew Levine, your top 10 at the moment with championship contender and current leader Will Lyon. They're in 11th, Connor Pearson in 12th, William Ashworth in 13th, Mark Johnston 14th, Sam Blackwood running in 15th. And we get ready to go here. It will be Jesper Orman leading us back to green flag. Apologies for the interruptions. And we are back to green for Jesper Orman. Oh, it's just so much fun. Here we go, back to green. And it's Matthew Turner taking the lead over Jesper Orman there on the green flag. I can't buy a break with this software. It's like no matter what I do, it just does not want to cooperate. Here we go. My goodness, back on your screen, it's Jesper Orman while I fumble the broadcast. It's Orman over Turner and Christensen. They're all still in a line, and Turner moves forward to take the lead. Orman, the teammate to Turner, now slotting in second, and swap drafting commences with Thomas Christensen in third, Andreas Eick next to him in fourth. And Eick still getting pushed out a little bit by Christensen. I think Christensen trying to defend this three-way 3CR juggernaut here at the front of this field. As we take a look further back, it's Soranzo in fifth and Oscar Fredrickson up into sixth place. Currently up 4 spots on the day and looking excellent. Now up, chasing the back end of Soranzo, dives to the inside. We'll take at least that one. It's going to go after Andreas Eick in the VRR machine. So Velocity Online Racing's Oscar Fredrickson coming forward in a hurry. Looking to join this battle up at the front. And go on board with Fredrickson. Moves inside of Eick. Can't quite take the position through two. Out onto the backstretch, and Eick resumes in third. So we see Christensen falling back now into fifth. Having lost 3 spots there, I think Christensen just electing to let some things calm down, maybe a little bit in front. Was talking a little bit with Thomas ahead of time, letting me know it's one of the older drivers in the group. Going to have to do everything he can to hang with these front runners up here, these younger front runners who seem to have their foot down all the time to the floor. Always difficult to keep up with the top 3 in this league for sure. And there you see the swap drafting commencing. Andreas Eick now sticking his nose underneath Matthew Turner and exiting turn 4. So Eick racing for Team Talent watches on as Matthew Turner and teammate Jesper Orman continue to swap draft now onto the back stretch, and Eick looks like he might just be getting close enough to take a shot. Decides to hang on the rear bumper of Jesper Orman. So we are enjoying this close battle. I hope you are too out there. Absolutely. Phil Lee says wish could be there, but unfortunately Philip Lee just started school again, can't be in the race today, but hopefully we'll get Philip Lee back in the field. Hope you're enjoying this one sitting on the couch or wherever you're at. We'll look forward to getting you back in there. I bet you miss it right now when you see Matthew Turner holding off Andreas Ike. Jesper Orman there in third. And we're now 4 wide on the straight, on the main straight into 1. It's 3 wide as the cars fan out, coming through turn 2. Don't look now, but it's Taylor Mills who's crept up into the 3rd spot and looks to move up into 2nd. Now looking inside of Andreas Ike, splitting them. Matthew Turner and Andreas Ike. It's Taylor Mills to 2nd place. This is just starting to heat up, as we're now 3 wide again, heading towards turn 1. It's Matthew Turner with Taylor Mills and Andreas Ike in 3rd. Jesper Orman hanging a tight 4th place. And now Christian Malkorek making his move up to the front as we see Taylor Mills going to the outside of Matthew Turner through 4. Malkorek hangs tight on the outside of Jesper Orman, taking that 4th spot, slotting in just behind Andreas Ike. Look to go 3, possibly 4 wide again as Malkorek stays on the outside of Ike, and Mills just pushes in front of Turner. On the backstretch they go, side by side. It's Malkorek just under the tail of Andreas Ike, and now they're starting to stack up behind Malkorek as they push to the outside, and Orman takes a look down to the inside. It's Mills who will lead that lap out in front, with Turner just diving back to the inside again. Malkorek now around the outside of Andreas Ike for 3rd. Turner back down to the inside of previous race winner Taylor Mills. Mills looking so prominent and shiny in that TMR car, glistening under the lights here at Auto Club Speedway. Folks, we've got practically this entire field covered by just a second. Don't blink or you'll miss it. And there Mills goes to the inside to cover Turner as Malkorek goes around the outside. Can Malkorek hold through turn 4? Malkorek racing for Spark VR. Last Lap Motorsports, the sole driver for that team. Coincidentally, my teammate over at Last Lap Motorsports. Malkorek, the first time we've seen him up there in the top 3, now fighting in 2nd, was up in the lead a moment ago. I think trying to get possibly a point for leading the lap. Also, you may know or may not know, Malkorek this last weekend racing an Audi GT3 car at the Slovakia ring in his home country of Slovakia, getting pole position and winning that race. So if that tells you the level of talent in this field, real life GT3 race winner Christian Malkorek currently running in 2nd place as Taylor Mills moves back into 1st. And you've gotten your money's worth so far, but we're just getting started. Over 100 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway. I hope I'll have a voice at the end of this one. It's Taylor Mills leading Christian Malkorek. Andreas Ike looks to the outside, can't get it done. He's going to have to hold on to 3rd. Jesper Orman still waiting in about the 4th spot. As we stay watching this battle at the front, it is absolutely crazy. It does look like William Ashworth, Sam Blackwood, Mark Johnston and Alex Salmon have all dropped off of this lead pack to try to get the track map up there for you. Mills, Malcorrect, and now Connor Pearson outside make it 1, 2, 3 here at Auto Club Speedway as they go down the back stretch. It's Pearson to the middle and Mills on the inside. Will they make contact? No. Malcorrect now back into the third spot as Mills and Malcorrect are side by side. Malcorrect goes for the middle. Mills backs out wisely and lets Malcorrect have it. So it's Malcorrect, Mills, and Pearson, your top three, with Oscar Fredrickson now into the fourth spot. Andreas Eich and Jesper Orman, that is your top five at the moment. And there, they get very close together. It's Taylor Mills and Connor Pearson. 3 wide down the front straight, but Connor Pearson will prevail into the second position, and there down the inside you see Taylor Mills. It's Mills racing alongside of and now ducking behind Oscar Fredrickson. So Christian Malcorrect now leading the bunch, having led several laps, fought his way forward.
The yellow flag is out.
And we do have a yellow. It could be for Mark Johnston. I'm not seeing who had the issue. Yes, I do see Mark Johnston went off track. We'll go back and take a look there. That was a little late. We'll go back to this moment here. Johnston was just behind Klessens. Pulls out through turn 3 and 4. And do we have a moment between these two? Oh, and there Johnston comes down and tags. That was that Alex Salmon? It was indeed. That was that group that had split off the back, including your second in the championship, Alex Salmon. So championship implications, and this will make a major dent in Alex Salmon's chance at this championship, as Will Lyon has not had this kind of problem and is still on the lead lap. You're watching Alex Salmon's championship possibly go up in smoke as we take a look live. And Salmon is apparently off. Again, there we go. You see live crashing into the pit wall. 28 car there coming to a rest. And that possibly, did Salmon lose a lap? Salmon has lost 1 lap already. As you see, literally everybody on pit road at the moment. You can take a look at that run off of pit road, and it was Christian Malcorrect who got out first. Connor Pearson second, Mills third, Fredrickson fourth. So Malcorrect up 5 spots, and the greatest beneficiary of that round of pit stops was Connor Pearson, who's now climbed 15 spots. So what an amazing turn of events, as an accident that wipes out Alex Salmon, one of our points contenders for the championship, and leaves Will Lyon, your points leader, currently on the lead lap. Let's see here, 1 lap exactly over Alex Salmon. So we await to see, possibly Alex will get a chance as part of this group. Let's see, where is Alex? Alex is still sitting on pit road. So unfortunate circumstances for the previous points leader, Alex Salmon, having difficulty here on pit road, waiting for repairs, and it looks like Alex will go down a second lap, and that is going to be disastrous, as the other driver's getting the wave around. truly unfortunate. And but we take a look at the main picture, and Christian Malkarek feeling it, having an awesome weekend, racing his GT3 car and winning Slovakia Ring, and now bringing some of that mojo over into the PMRL. Good to have you over on the chat, Gail. You say you don't think you'll need that track map, but it gets complicated when these groups get spread out. So we'll you know, we might take it away for a bit, but we'll bring it back, Gail. We promise. Always thinking of you. And Big Red rooting on Magnus and Thomas. Big fan of those drivers. And why not? Magnus Anderson, unfortunately, having an issue and dropping back here down a lap on the rest of the field. But we'll get a chance at it on the next go-round here, and possibly we'll get that lap back. Alex Salmon, you see there from the track map, still sitting on pit road, and we will try to keep up with that. But in the meantime, it is a new leader to talk about. Christian Malkarek going to lead us to the green flag over Connor Pearson and Taylor Mills as we get going on lap 31. Just like that, Taylor Mills to the lead. You saw it. It was pretty indefensible. The draft here at Auto Club Speedway, pretty tough to deal with. Somebody coming up behind and sucking up all that draft, making a slingshot move, and that's exactly what Taylor Mills did, sending that one to the front for Taylor Mills Racing. Looking to make it 2 for 2 in Taylor Mills' participation last time, coming in, and she was able to just basically dominate and take the race with no issues with a last second pass. Pretty phenomenal stuff if you didn't see that race. But we look on and see Christian Malkarek back in the lead, fighting it out, and now Connor Pearson, I believe, will get credit for leading that lap as the crazy draft battle continues here at Auto Club Speedway. It's Connor Pearson up in front with Christian Malkarek now shown in second. Taylor Mills just behind. We take a look from Taylor Mills, excuse me, that was Oscar Fredrickson just behind. Taylor Mills here in fourth spot. Looks around the outside, just trying to fit that car anywhere there is room. Of course, the aero push is a big factor, but these cars being very balanced on the setup side. So you see Taylor Mills kind of going out a little wide, and getting a little bit of run off of the back straight down the inside. What a move to take 2 spots. But now Taylor Mills gonna slide back again, not able to hold that through turn 3, but we got a chance to see a pretty nice run off the corner from Taylor Mills there and take it down the inside. Mills just kind of having fun with the group. Now Connor Pearson on your screen, ahead of Oscar Fredrickson. And Fredrickson now wants to get a point for leading the lap. So Fredrickson now to the lead. Not sure how many race leaders we've had, but it's coming up on half the field now. Connor Pearson to the outside, and Fredrickson will get credit for that lap. Malkarek not done, wants a taste of that lead yet again. Holding that car on the outside, as you saw Taylor Mills really drifting up the track there. That was close. And now she'll fall back a little bit. That was really close on the outside. Pushed right up the track, I think, trying for maybe that high side run again, but not quite able to get it working. We go back up and we look at this 3-wide battle for first. It's Christian Malkarek on the outside. But Connor Pearson pushes back up into the lead as Fredrickson. I mean, it's too close to call. All these cars separated by so little. And Malcorek pushes up on exit of 4. There you see Pearson diving behind to get the draft. Malcorek hanging on the top line allows Pearson to go to the bottom and take the position. So quite an easy one for Pearson there. And now you watch Fredrickson do the same to Malcorek on the backstretch, taking that spot, possibly 2. As we watch these drivers head into 3, it's Oscar Fredrickson to the lead. And they continue to race side by side here on lap 39. So glad to have you with us. You're watching the Prime Meridian Racing League's round 9 of 10 at the Virtual Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. My name's Trevor Greenfield, and we're so glad to be bringing you this awesome broadcast. Look at all of these Indy cars going over 200 miles an hour. This is what the PMRL is all about, close, tight racing. As we see some new leaders up in the field today, it's Christian Malcorek now up at the front in the lead, and then second place, Connor Pearson. Third, Oscar Fredrickson. Fourth, David Soranzo. And fifth, Andreas Ike. Taylor Mills there just outside the top 5. Of course, we saw her up in the lead and challenging everyone. We take a look a little bit further back as this battle continues to rage on for first. We look at these drivers just behind. Now, this is Jesper Orman. Jesper was just up in the front in the first stint before the caution, and still hanging in the top 10, now in 7th spot. We'll look to see whether Jesper is going to slide that one back up into the front before we get to the end. But Orman has a lot of experience, as you can see. Taylor Mills and Andreas Ike getting very close together there. Mills coming up the track a little bit. But just alongside right now, Matthew Levine, another very talented driver, podium finisher last week. And Levine fighting hard this week to get SMS Racing right up there into the front. You see Orman now drifting behind, and this driver, Will Lyon, you can't forget about. He's been quiet, but that yellow car, very easy to see throughout the field. And something tells me Will is just hanging back, possibly fuel saving. Either way, your points leader at the moment, trying to stay out of danger in sort of the back half of the pack at the moment. Thomas Christensen, another driver that was up at the front, has now slid back, possibly doing the same thing. A little bit of that wisdom of these older drivers perhaps showing. Matthew Turner now sliding back behind, and William Ashworth now shown in 13th spot, having gained 7 spots today. You see on board, curious. I'm not sure if that is for the Trevor. Yeah, it is the Trevor Project. I saw my name on the side pod and I thought, how amazing. Thank you, William. But of course, it's for the Trevor Project, which is a great project. Obviously not my place here to talk about all of those different projects that are going on out there and all of the different movements, but encourage you to check it out. A great human project involving human rights for sure. Christian Malcorek up into second place at the moment as Connor Pearson moves into first. So Connor Pearson now in first, Malcorek in second, Taylor Mills racing in third, now up into second. The script looks like it's the first lap of the race or the last lap of the race, take your pick, but it's 3 wide and 2 wide down the backstretch now. Oh, and the cars are really moving around. I have a note that Alex Salmon has had another crash. We'll take a look at that real quick. What happened to Alex Salmon? Salmon heading out, must have been after repairs. And that car not doing well. I think Salmon choosing to go back to the pits because they did not properly fix that car. And that is unfortunate for Salmon. I'm sure Alex wanted to get back in there and just get some laps and see if there's a way to get any more points out of this one. But unfortunately, your points, you're second in the points. Alex Salmon is going to take a real hit this race, and thus so will TMR. But it's Taylor Mills up there fighting hard for TMR, and we've got 3 wide on the front stretch again as Taylor Mills goes back to the lead over Connor Pearson. I can't even believe this one. We're barely a third of the way through this one here. And it has absolutely lived up to expectation. Hope you are enjoying it as we see Taylor Mills and Connor Pearson almost make contact. We watch from Connor Pearson's point of view. Let's go on board and just watch some of these laps on board. Pearson goes to the outside on Mills. Can't get it done. You hear the revs bogged down as Pearson gets out of the draft. So here comes Pearson on the outside again. Very little room on the outside. Does Pearson make it all the way to the front? No. There's Taylor Mills just to the left coming back up, as does Malcorek. Pearson stays to the outside. Mills stays to the middle. Right now, these drivers hearing 3 wide, you're on the outside, 3 wide, you're in the middle. Constantly spotter feedback coming back to their ear, telling them where the other drivers are at. Pearson gets a huge run on Malcorek. Malcorek not really leaving room on the outside, and Pearson really deciding to pull back on that one. Could have definitely sent it on the outside, but as a result, the drivers survive, and here they go, 3 wide as Pearson puts it up into the lead. So Mills still on the inside. Malcorek tries the outside. And there we can see it from the blimp very clearly as Mills gets cut off of Pearson there going through the corner. As they go onto the backstretch, it's Malcorek with the run down the outside. There's Fredrickson. We can see Julian Altena in the chat room. Thank you so much for stopping in, Julian, letting us know they're rooting for Oscar out there. Oscar Fredrickson, of course. Swede coming through now in 4th spot, up 6 positions on the day. One of those drivers you absolutely cannot count out in the field. Fredrickson racing right now the top driver for Velocity Online Racing, sitting in the 4th spot. I believe we've got 6, 7 different teams in the top 7 positions at the moment. It's quite exciting as Connor Pearson in the lead with Christian Malcorek in 2nd, Taylor Mills in 3rd, Oscar Fredrickson 4th, Andreas Eich in 5th, and David Soranzo in 6th, Matthew Levine in 7th. Now those 2 swapping positions, Levine and Soranzo. Beautiful look from the PMRL blimp. So we can see these 2 racers very close on track. You can see not much space from first back. If anything were to happen with the first 3 cars and you were anywhere back from that, you might find yourself in first place at the end of it all. So any of these drivers potentially going to be in the right place at the right time.
flag is out.
And we do have a yellow flag. What's happened? Taylor Mills has had a problem. What happened? Did Taylor Mills make contact? Malcorrect, did we just miss it? Of course we did. We were looking elsewhere, and there's Mills with damage. Malcorrect has had damage. Malcorrect in the pits. Sam Blackwood also in the pits. We were focused a little bit further back and missed it. We're going to go back and catch it. You didn't miss anything right here as we go back to the yellow flag. We'll take a look. Actually, we'll look from Christian Malcorrect's point of view, see if we can tell what happened. So Malcorrect goes to the outside of Pearson. And it looks like, I'm not sure if Malcorrect made contact first or was caught in contact there. Let's go back and watch one more time and we can check it out. We'll watch from outside the car. It looked like Malcorrect just lost it, but I'm thinking there might have been contact, and there was. Well, that being Taylor Mills, unfortunately, that one may be a little too aggressive. Let's go back and take a look again. We'll watch from Taylor Mills on board as Mills attempts to split them, and that gap just closes down in a hurry and there's nowhere to go. So that, and unfortunately, if I saw that correctly, that looked like Thomas Christensen taking a little bit of contact there at the back of the field as well. Not sure how much of that is going to come through. So we have a note over in chat. Mark Johnston letting us know that Sam, unfortunately, letting Sam, presumably Sam Blackwood, know that there was a VR headset problem. And of course, we experiencing our own technical difficulties. It's just so frustrating. I mean, it's like when you're in a race just like that, having a headset problem, having a technical issue. I've seen so many people just this week having issues with technical glitches and getting tossed out of races, having their wheels lock up, their pedals lock up. It's kind of amazing. But David Soranzo there, I cannot believe what this software is doing to me. Just making decisions to do whatever the heck it wants to do on its own. It's a little possessed today, to be quite honest. It's a bit weird. But Soranzo there is in first, Pearson in second, Mills in third, Fredrickson in fourth, and Will Lyon in fifth. And as we were talking earlier, as I was mentioning, Will Lyon, and by the way, we're going to get going here in just one more lap. Quick cautions here at Auto Club. So this puts David Soranzo up into the lead. Now, David has not yet made a second stop. Everyone else having made a second stop thus far. So your virtual lead of the race is Connor Pearson with basically 28 lap newer tires and fuel, so much easier to get to the end for Connor and the rest of the field. But it'll be Connor Pearson as well as Taylor Mills somehow not sustaining enough damage to take her out of the race, and currently finding herself in third. So we'll look for that as they get back up to speed, whether Taylor can actually keep up. But of course, having that moment and that incident a moment ago, that likely could have caused damage on that TMR machine. So we will watch for that. Oscar Fredrickson will be starting in fourth. Julian Altena, gonna be glad to know that one. Yep, absolutely. Oscar, as well as Will Lyon, and possibly this driver, Andreas Eick, kind of choosing to sit back now a little bit, let some of this carnage take place, get it out of the way as Levine and Orman, Christensen, and then finally Turner
Green.
make up your top 10 and back up to the front. It's Soranzo with the lead over Connor Pearson in second place. You see them split by two different lap cars there. There's Soranzo. So that is Thomas Klessens, your podium finisher from a couple of weeks ago. Moving around the outside of David Soranzo, trying to take back that lap. And Klessens, part of that accident earlier, much earlier, 2 laps down. So not just trying to get 1 lap, but 2 laps. But I guess you got to start with 1 lap. So Klessens just getting that new livery in just before start today. Hopefully the Team Spirit Box Police will be happy with that. We got it right. Love seeing all these custom liveries presented to us each week by these contestants and these competitors and their teams, and it's always fun to see what they bring to the table. Sometimes they're all over the board in terms of the design and the colors and whether they use glossy or chrome or matte, or it's just fun to see everyone get a chance to express themselves. And of course, these vinyl wraps cost $0 on the real life machines. They're much more expensive than that, and they take a lot more work to get together. And now we're starting to see the field group back up as we get up to speed and get the drafts back underway. We've got Connor Pearson and David Soranzo now running nose to tail. The orange and blue car of Connor Pearson, staying hydrated, getting his electrolytes, as you can see from the side pod sponsor. Look forward to as we see Taylor Mills really struggling there, trying to get to the inside, almost having a moment with that driver. So Mills is not out of this one yet, and it does not appear as though Mills suffered any speed reduction because of that crash earlier. Despite making contact with the nose, I believe Mills is going to be all right. So, or I didn't see if Mills perhaps took a wing on that pit stop. Either way, Mills came back out in third, so I would guess not. And there you can see it's getting real racy once again up at the front, as Pearson trying to get around the lap cars and get back up there to fight with Soranzo, and Pearson doesn't stop there, goes right to the front. So Pearson up to the front, and we are 3 wide again, with Taylor Mills now moving to the front through the center, just like she did before. Taylor Mills taking TMR to the front. So the drivers continue to jockey around behind, and it's literally just too close to call. As the drivers move forward and backwards, they're 2 wide and 3 wide each and every lap, moving forwards in the order and trying to strategize how they'll be at the right place at the right time as we get very close to being halfway through this one here. It's round 9 for the Prime Meridian Racing League. You're watching live, uninterrupted coverage here on VirtualRacing.Network. Once again, had some technical difficulties, and we're hoping that you're enjoying this action as we've got all the cameras working and the ticker working. That's the main thing. Here we go, Taylor Mills to the front, with Connor Pearson now diving to the outside. And David Soranzo looks on from third. Very close racing between Mills and Pearson. And they jockey around behind as Mills now gaps the field a little bit. See Soranzo there behind, coming up fast, now going to the outside. Not able to go up into the lead, but it is anybody's race out here as Soranzo and leads Mills and Fredrickson. Now Mills back to the front. 4 and 5 wide. It's wide enough to do whatever you want out here in the wild, wild west in California. 5 wide for a moment. 4 wide for the rest of the time. 3 wide into the quarter. This is the PMRL's 9th race here at Auto Club. Mills and Soranzo battling it out with Oscar Fredrickson now on the outside. Still the lap car of Klessens hanging in there trying to get that lap back. And Ike also just looking on. You see the yellow car of Will Lyon, your points leader. Perhaps a bit trepidatious seeing all of this battling and movement on the track in front. I think Will Lyon just trying to look for the exit strategy if anything were to happen. Some other smart drivers just behind as well. Thomas Christensen and Jesper Orman hanging back as we see David Soranzo now pulling in, making his pit stop. That's his scheduled pit stop here on lap 72, having previously pitted on lap 28. So Soranzo having to take that green flag stop, and I think that's going to put him a lap down by the time he exits. There's only one way to know, and that is we need to get that track map up there. Gail H now doing a little party dance, seeing the track map. You can tell exactly what is going on with your favorite drivers and where they're located on the track. As you see Taylor Mills and now Oscar Fredrickson battling it out for first. Pearson says, don't leave me out. I'm coming back forward too. It's 3 wide into turn 3. Out of turn 4 they go. Fredrickson emerges in front, but it's Mills who's got a good run. Dives to the inside. Going to take that position back. And Pearson, within the span of 100 yards, now takes 1 position. Comes after Taylor Mills on the outside. And you see we're 3 wide again, headed in to turn 3 and 4. And it's Fredrickson in front with Mills just behind Pearson, and then Ike. Orman just off the, actually now Orman to the inside of Ike. You can see Matthew Turner right there ready to capitalize. So David Soranzo, as we can see Klessens now into the pits to receive, this would be the 3rd pit stop. So Klessens gonna take a hit as far as going down a lap. As you can see, we've got 5 cars within 2 rows. Looks like the start of the Indy 500. And there Mills emerges victorious for the moment. Cuts off Fredrickson charging down the inside. That leaves it open on the outside to Connor Pearson, who's flanked by Andreas Ike. But it's Mills who hangs on. And now we're 4 wide just behind as Pearson's weaving on the track, and Orman now slots into the bottom side just behind Mills. So it's Mills and Pearson, Ike, now Orman on the inside. Mills back up into the lead. And there you can see not only this amazing battle, but while that's going on, your points, you're second in the points right now, and your championship contender, Alex Salmon, the AS, shown on the track map, battling around back there, now 31 laps off the pace. Unfortunately, kind of in a salvage kind of race for Alex Salmon. See if he can get any more points out of this one. And you see a number of other drivers kind of in their own battle back there as it starts to split up just a little bit. And there you see contact. It's several drivers, 4 or 5 drivers caught up in the front of this one. This is a major accident. It's Taylor Mills again. Involved Oscar Fredrickson, Matthew Levine. I'm not sure if Saranzo was caught in that one. Matthew Turner also caught in it. I don't see any damage on Thomas Christensen. This again having major implications as far as those middle positions in the championship. Connor Pearson getting caught in that. Well, we're going to have to go back and take a look at this one. This was the big one that we were hoping we weren't going to see. And we'll go back and watch from on board with Will Lyon, because I'm seeing that Will Lyon, my goodness, and that is, I mean, that magic horseshoe in the back of Will Lyon's pocket to know where to be at the time of that accident. We'll go back and look one more time from Will's point of view as he simply goes to the inside and avoids 6 cars crashing in front. Your championship leader avoiding the big one here at Auto Club that has wiped out most of the top running part of this group. Now let's take a look from Taylor Mills' point of view. This was on board with Taylor, and there you can see, we'll go back and take a look at it. That was just a horrible crash. We'll just back it up, and now let's look from the blimp point of view. We'll roll this real slow so we can tell exactly what happened. Mills looks like she moves up just a bit, unfortunately, possibly, and collects the orange and blue car of Pearson, and that slides up into Oscar Fredrickson. It looks like Matthew Turner just getting involved in the middle of that one, and it also wiping out at least one more driver. I believe that's Mark Johnston up on his lid. Is that Mark Johnston? I couldn't quite tell from that. We'll have to go back and see. Well, let's take another look at it. This time, it's Taylor Mills. And it's so violent. And that was Matthew Levine who got picked up in that crash and sent over. We'll watch from on board Matthew Levine's car. No, not Matthew Levine, excuse me. That was Matthew Turner. Yeah, the other Matthew in the field. Well, let's go back and watch from Matthew Turner's point of view. See if we can tell what happened. Now we're on board with Matthew Turner here. This is coming through 3 and 4. This is perhaps just before this incident happens. There's Levine just to the left, and it'd be Fredrickson up in front of that, 2 cars up. I think we're just 1 lap too early on this one. So we ride on board with Matthew Turner, and then I believe it is this very next lap as we go down the front straight. Hopefully it is. Hopefully we didn't go that far back. And there you see it happening to the left, and then just comes up and collects Turner and rides along the fence. And of course, in real life, we've seen so many bad accidents because of that. The cars come up into the fence. Obviously, this is one of the beautiful parts of this being a sim race, is that we don't have any injuries unless you forget to take your hands off of your direct drive wheel. That being said, we're not seeing anybody really getting ready for this green flag. So we're going green this next time by, and Jesper Orman is in the lead ahead of Andreas Eick and Will Lyon, your championship leader. Michael Grossberger, haven't even talked about him today, up in fourth, up 8 spots. And I guess it's time for Grossberger to come forward and lead Team TMR now that Taylor Mills has officially taken the big hit. And so here we go, back with Jesper Orman leading us to the green flag. A good deal of this field is out. Warhad has had repairs, and that leaves Orman, Eick, and Will Lyon. Michael Grossberger restarting in fourth. Fifth, Thomas Christensen. Matthew Turner did get back out there in 6th place. That's just phenomenal that somehow that team got that car turned back around that quick. But Turner was on his lid a moment ago. Now Turner is back again up in the top 5. That is just astounding. Up in the top 6 rather. But now it's Grossberger to the lead over Jesper Orman. Michael Grossberger will take over the lead here. Lap 84 of 125 as we're cranking off the rest of the laps very quickly. Andreas Eick has fallen back almost 0.8 of a second. But that's not too much, as we've seen this draft haul people in as far back as 1.5 seconds. So these drivers will find their way back to Grossberger, that is for certain. But Grossberger up 11 spots on the day. Absolutely doing what needs to be done to try to keep TM Racing in this fight for the team championship. Meanwhile, Andreas Eick in second, under attack from, I believe that is Connor Pearson again. Pearson must have gotten the car fixed and is now shown 2 laps down. So Connor Pearson fans, Pearson just 2 laps down at the moment. Get the track map off of the screen. Promise, Gail, we will bring it back if it's necessary. Just 1 click away. Grossberger still your leader. Lyon in second, Eick in third, Christensen in fourth, and Orman in fifth. It's Turner and Soranzo in 6th and 7th. Those two just swap positions. So we see this fight going on for 6th and 7th. And now I'm seeing Magnus Anderson shown the first car a lap down. So 8th place, Magnus Anderson up 10 spots, but Anderson, I think, getting caught in one of the earlier incidents. A lap down now. Ashworth also a lap down, but great to have William in the field. Another American up 11 spots on the day. Connor Pearson in 10th officially. So Pearson there shown on the outside as, you know, it still has a chance to get the wave around and or earn this lap back right now, and then maybe get the wave around and possibly get 2 laps back, be back in this fight for the lead. But time starting to run out on that dream. I tell you who is living the dream right now. This guy, Will Lyon, in second place. The yellow machine has been just kind of hanging back. You know, I'll be honest. This looks like those races at Auto Club and others where in the official and in the as we watch this train just behind Will Lyon, Andreas Eick, Thomas Christensen, Jesper Orman, Matthew Turner, all these drivers, they know each other very well. That's for one. They've raced against each other also many times. But Christensen and Orman, teammates, looking to come forward and push their way past Eick. We'll see if they can do that. But Yeah, it's one of those things that I've seen in my racing, in the Open and in the Fixed Series, especially in the Fixed Series. You get these drivers with a lot of experience, and a lot of times they don't run in the front. They run towards the back, and you say, what's going on with them? Are they just not fast this week? What's their deal? Well, and I've seen Will Lyon do this personally. I've literally been in a race with Will Lyon and seen him do this. But they hang back there, and then you just watch. When the time is right, maybe 20, 30 laps to go, all of a sudden, these drivers start emerging towards the front and starting to position themselves at the right place at the right time. Sometimes it's the last 5 laps. You know, they're the ones that know what kind of strategy they want to run and when they want to push hard. And it's kind of a combo strategy where maybe you save some tires, maybe you save up your fuel and you change your fuel map back to fuel map 1 or something like that at the very end, or you save your tires and then you crank up the weight jacker. But you can only get away with that for so long. You can only get away with those flat out laps or trying to outperform your competition by going flat out or putting your foot down a little bit more and turning up the weight jacker. You can only do that for so many laps. So these drivers will carefully consider exactly when to come forward and exactly when to deploy their strategy of cranking up the weight jacker or turning up the fuel map. As these drivers, again, having to also understand their fuel strategy. So, you know, if you're like Will Lyon or Christensen or any of these drivers that you might want to try to make it further than your competition, well, you're going to try to hang back a little bit, hang in the draft, take your foot out a little bit, and try and save some fuel that way. So we'll find out who's in the best position as we get closer to the end of this one. But Grossberger reeling him off at the front, and Pearson trying to get that lap back. That's kind of your story as we're on lap 94, and we are possibly watching a chance for Michael Grossberger to capitalize on some of this previous top finishes and speed that we have seen out of this driver through the races thus far this first season of the PMRL. Grossberger now putting himself and TMR Racing in position to potentially take this victory. But of course, many other drivers in the field will have something to say about that. So as we complete another lap, it's Michael Grossberger in front, and you see Connor Pearson so close there, trying to get that lap back, just really racing hard, hoping that a caution comes out, I'm sure, just as Pearson is in front. You see Levine there also racing hard, trying to get that lap back. Levine losing a lap on that large crash that took out a number of your front runners. And so Levine on the outside. You see William Ashworth there in that Trevor Project machine. And same thing, running in 7th spot, but the first car a lap down and really trying to get that lap back. As we take a look at Grossberger here. Had another subscriber, Sam B. Thank you so much for subscribing to us. Appreciate it. Always getting new subscribers. We really do appreciate your support. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to VirtualRacing.Network's YouTube channel. We're also over on Twitter and Facebook. And the Prime Meridian Racing League, which you're watching right now, is also on Twitter. Official PMRL is their tag over there, so head on over and subscribe to them. You'll stay up to date on the latest happenings with the PMRL. And of course, now going to be heading into Season 2 here pretty soon. It's very exciting as administration staff working on some changes and some different settings to keep the racing exciting up at the front. And so if you want to be part of this group, just head on over to PMRL, either send Jessica Sabin a note through Twitter or go through iRacing and apply to be part of the league. Either way, you can look up Jessica Sabin or perhaps even Vilda Wallen. And also, if you need any great looking liveries, there are many who can help you. But if you like the ones in the Three Crowns Racing stable, those are all supplied by Vopsy, Vilda Wallen, who's a big part of the Prime Meridian Racing League. Taking a look here as this race continues up at the front, not between leaders necessarily. The only leader here is Michael Grossberger. The other two cars fighting desperately to get their lead lap back. It's going to take both of them a couple of laps to get back on the lead lap, but they're trying everything they can to get around Grossberger and get up there to the front. And in the meantime, that is allowing Will Lyon there in fourth spot in the yellow car to stay in this fight. Will Lyon is second place on the track, just ahead of Thomas Christensen, who's running in third in the potential podium position here with 25 to go. And there you can see a driver going very slow. That's not Taylor Mills, my apologies. It is one of the TMR cars. Perhaps Alex Salmon, who appears to still be circulating. Yes, indeed, that is Alex Salmon. Hard to believe that and Alex just really looks like they've got a handful out there. You could just watch the wheel input, not up to speed, just trying to click off some laps and get a couple of points, as Oscar Fredrickson has fallen back and is perhaps out of this race now in 14th, and Taylor Mills also apparently out of this race as well. Yeah, Mills, I think, just sitting over on pit lane after that last incident. So Klessen's kind of in a race by himself at the moment, trying to salvage something in 12th, and Soranzo kind of racing by himself there in 11th. Ashworth is still fighting, but has fallen back out of this lead group. So we go back to the lead group here, and we do have Pearson, and that is also Levine, who have now managed to get by Grossberger, who then has to fight his way back to the inside to retake that lead spot on the track. So quite a different day than many would have imagined here, as Michael Grossberger now in the lead by close to a second over Will Lyon, your points leader. Alex Salmon experiencing issues, having an incident early on, and moments ago there being a quite large crash in the field, quote unquote the big one, taking out multiple front-running cars, including Taylor Mills and Oscar Fredrickson, a number of different cars, including Matthew Turner, if you can believe it. Take a look. Matthew Turner was just run that number 36 car. That's also the number that I use. But Matthew Turner was unfortunately upside down, not on fire, but upside down and against the catch fencing. And somehow that Three Crowns Racing with IAR machine, that pit crew got that car back together and Matthew back out there on the track. And Matthew is still on the lead lap, if you can believe it. Under 20 laps to go. We look back up at the front. Michael Grossberger in the lead over Will Lyon in the yellow car there, running on track in fourth. But your actual second place at the moment, as Pearson in the orange and blue car and Levine in the blue and black car on the outside, are fighting for that lap back. And there you see Grossberger again in Pearson getting very, very close. as we ride on board with Grossberger. You see from our gyro cam just how banked these corners are as Grossberger has to lift for a moment. Pearson and Levine having a moment. Grossberger is saying you can take that lead, but you better not wreck me. At least that's what I'm typically thinking in this scenario. Like, yeah, you can have your lap back, just don't wreck right in front of me or take me out, please. But Grossberger, your leader, looking really sharp in that TMR car, sparkling under the lights here as we wind this one down. Just 16 to go. Under the lights here at Auto Club Speedway. We didn't really take a look at the temperature, but that was because it's been cool all night, as it is always when you're under the lights like this. Temperature's not usually a factor in terms of the... Oh, and there we can see Grossberger momentarily having a touch with Connor Pearson. And it can get very fatiguing to do this lap after lap after lap. It is very difficult. I mean, here, we'll just go on board with Grossberger. And this is the leader. And imagine you're in the lead. Driver to the right there is a lap down. Was a leader earlier, has a fast car. But you're in the lead and you're trying to stay in the lead. And you just can't shake this guy, and it goes up the track just a little bit. Boy, that was close. And in racing like this, net code can become a factor. So always something that you want to plan for, giving yourself an extra, good 6 inches to a foot of space. Not that, I've had 4-foot net codes before, but certainly you want to give a little bit of extra room whenever you're doing online racing like this. It's so close, and they're just trying to thread that needle. Grossberger back up into the front. So we watch from Grossberger's point of view, as there's just nothing you can do. There's no way to shake the drivers. You could go fairly radical and try and do something very different, but there's just really nothing you can do. Oh, and wow, that got close. This is about as close as you ever want to get if you're Grossberger. That is just inches away. It's scary. It's just downright scary from my standpoint watching this. These drivers are so close, as it looks like Levine now has kind of slipped off of this battle. I think Levine in the pits at the moment, so backing out and coming in to take final service. Grossberger now decides to try the outside. Perhaps the outside will be a little bit luckier as we watch a little bit further back. This battle going on. Now this is still raging here for third spot, final spot on the podium. It's Thomas Christensen in the black and white 3CR machine for Three Crowns Racing. And that flashy dark blue and gold machine of Jesper Orman for Three Crowns Racing, just behind Andreas Eick in the orange, yellow, white, and black. That gradient orange and yellow looks like it's on fire back there. Andreas Eick, and then Matthew Turner just behind. So it's really anyone's race now for 6th through 1st. But if anybody wants to take first besides Michael Grossberger, they're going to have to come through Will Lyon. Lyon's kind of hanging back about 0.8 of a second. I'm not sure whether Lyon will come forward here in the last 10 laps. So unfortunately, yeah. Well, Sam, I appreciate your comments over in the chat room. I appreciate it if you could mention that in the private discussion forums for PMRL. There's always going to be competition issues, and you should always bring it up with the administrators as well and let them know, and that's what the protesting is for. Obviously, in the Air Republic forum right now, certain drivers can't really defend themselves. But we're watching on board, or we're watching Will Lyon, who has now taken over the lead as Michael Grossberger did bring it into the pits just moments ago to take on that final pit stop. Of course, Grossberger was off sync just a little bit. We're waiting to see if caution would come out. And there you can see Connor Pearson actually pulling it down into pit lane. So again, the caution's not working out for Connor Pearson either. That turns over the lead to someone that we might want to start mentioning as a master strategist in this racing series, Will Lyon, who seems to, at least the last 2 weeks, be at the right place at the right time. 7 laps to go, and it's Will Lyon in the command of this race. 0.7 of a second over Jesper Orman. But don't look now. These drivers are not too far back to catch that draft. We'll watch from Matthew Turner's point of view, as we can see the entire lead happening just in front of us.
Yellow.
And now we've gone yellow. This will set up a shootout for the finish, and it will trap Michael Grossberger a lap down. So unfortunate timings. We're gonna see if we can figure out exactly what happened, and it was Connor Pearson who left pit lane. We'll watch on board here. Pearson leaves pit lane. Was there a problem leaving pit lane? I can see the car drifting up to the right, and that's exactly what happened. Pearson having a problem exiting pit lane, spinning it around, drifting up onto the track, and apparently that was enough. Continuing to sit on the track and then finally get it going again. That was apparently enough to bring out the yellow flag and reset this field. So all that racing for naught for Pearson, Grossberger, and Levine, as Levine and Pearson remain a lap down. Grossberger now has fallen a lap down, although possibly could get that. I don't think Grossberger's going to get the wave around. So you see Will Lyon actually now in the pits, so going to take advantage of some fresh tires, leaving Andreas Eick out to inherit the lead. This is going to shake it up big time, as we've got Andreas Eick now taking the lead for Team Talent. Matthew Turner also electing to stay out for Three Crowns Racing with IAR. Orman in the pits, as well as Lyon. Lyon there, the first one out, as you can see. Orman's going to be second and Christensen third. And it appears as though Eick... Oh, now where will this put Grossberger? So I see Levine and Grossberger as well as Ashworth there. But as long as Eick chooses to stay out, as well as Turner, I don't believe these cars will get the wave around. So unfortunate for Grossberger, was in the lead, and unfortunate timing, but that has allowed Grossberger to now go down a lap, and it's basically a 5-car shootout for the win. So stay tuned as we get set for the end of this one. And as I mentioned, of course, you are watching live uninterrupted coverage of the Prime Meridian Racing League here on VirtualRacing.Network. We're going to be doing another lap under caution here, and then getting a 2-lap shootout for the checkered flag It's been a wild one here, and we're seeing, well, we've got one more race after this one. We'll bring that up in a minute, but yeah, this PMRL season has been on fire and quite a great bunch of races to cover. VirtualRacing.Network looking forward to bringing you Season 2 coverage. Be starting in just a few weeks. Again, feel free to send a note or go through iRacing.com, look up PMRL, and apply to be part of the league for next season. We'll just love talking with this group. They love to have fun and joke back and forth. It's just been it's been great to be part of this group for this season, and look forward to what Season 2 can bring. And of course, VirtualRacing.Network also continuing its coverage and doing more broadcasting this next season. Stay tuned to our social media channels as well for more announcements as far as that goes. But we'll have another race with PMRL after the end of this one. We look forward to 2-lap shootout between Andreas Eick and Matthew Turner. Who will it be? Andreas Eick, Matthew Turner, Will Lyon, Jesper Orman, and Thomas Christensen right up at the front.
Green flag, green flag.
And we're going again. It's Eick out to the lead with a nice jump. Turner's going to try to get that draft as soon as possible. We've got 2 laps to go here. So we watch on board, or we watch Turner and Will Lyon. We can see Orman and Christensen just behind. Will they have anything to say about it? And Turner goes to the outside, as does Will Lyon through turn 3. Eick still holds it down to the inside. Turner not able to get that pass done, as we see Will Lyon trying to split the middle. Not able to do so. Orman now tries his hand around the outside. Christensen up into the mix. It's 5 cars into turn 2. There you can see Orman now trying to go to the outside of Andreas Eick. These drivers have raced many times. Christensen to the inside and to the lead. On the final lap, they come through turn 3 and turn 4. It's Thomas Christensen to the lead. Andreas Eick in second. Orman tries for third, and it is Christensen with the win here at Auto Club Speedway, just over Andreas Eick and Jesper Orman. A last-minute battle as these drivers they make lemonade out of lemons, and what a heck of a race this was. Thomas Christensen coming from, I believe, 5th on that restart. Let's go back and take a look at how that all went down. We'll watch from the white flag and Thomas Christensen's point of view. On board starting in 5th spot. They're going to the outside as we head towards turn 1. And you're right now, if you're Thomas Christensen, you're thinking maybe 3rd. But look at this run off of turn 2 that Christensen gets and goes to the inside of everyone, almost making contact with Andreas Eick. And we lost momentary coverage there as Christensen blanked out for just a second, but then came back in, and Eick behind gets second in basically a photo finish with Jesper Orman for 3rd. And Matthew Turner will settle for 4th, but for a driver that was on their helmet and in the fence just half a race before, I think Turner's going to be very happy with that finish in 4th spot. Thomas Christensen, obviously the most elated of all. As we can see, we go back to the live picture here at Auto Club Speedway. It was an absolute amazing race from beginning to end. And we'll take a look at the final results on your screen. It's Thomas Christensen. You saw it here with a last lap move from 5th to 1st to take the win. And what a heck of a job Christensen did. Andreas Eick finishing in 2nd place. Jesper Orman in 3rd. Turner in 4th. And Will Lyon who was sitting in second place for a large amount of the back half of this race, after that big incident wiped out quite a few of the front runners, is going to have to settle for fifth, but I think that's okay because Will Lyon has actually gained quite a few points over nearest rival Alex Salmon in the championship. Michael Grossberger in sixth had an amazing race going, was leading, unfortunately getting tangled up in a wreck, and unfortunately that moving him back into sixth. Magnus Anderson in seventh, and David Soranzo, another driver that was up there in the front and having incidents, puts him back in eighth. William Ashworth in ninth. Matthew Levine finishing in 10th. Connor Pearson in 11th. Thomas Klessens 12th. Alex Salmon, your second place in the points before this one, is going to drop down a bit, and I don't think it's going to be enough to have Andreas Eick overcome, but now is going to have to really fight hard in the last race to possibly get first, but certainly to hold on to second in the points. Taylor Mills looked very racy from the very beginning. It looked like it could be her day again. Unfortunately, tangled in two different incidents, and we'll have to see how this one plays out in the long run. But unfortunately, Taylor Mills ending up in 14th. And Oscar Fredrickson had another great run, also up there in the mix, as well as Sam Blackwood, Christian Malkorek, all of those drivers up there in the front, getting caught out in a really difficult finish, getting caught out in that wreck in a very difficult finish. And so we take a look over in our chat, and we're going to see as the drivers stumble into the the post-race discussion area, and it does look as though we have Jesper Orman, our third place finisher, is in the broadcast booth, has finished doing the initial interviews with some of the others, and so Jesper, can you hear me over there on your side of the booth?
I can hear you, Trevor.
Hey, what an amazing what an amazing race, Jesper. I mean, a lot of this race, you know, from the beginning, you were right there with your Three Crowns Racing teammates right up at the front, and then it looked like chaos was starting to ensue. It looked like you drifted back for a little bit. We're just kind of hanging back, and you played your cards right. You ended up right there at the front. You had a shot at the win, but you'll take third. Congratulations on your podium finish here at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, first of all, I got to say congrats to Thomas. He really deserved that one after missing out a little bit on Pocono, so he definitely deserved that. Yeah, the race was it was interesting. It was really, really packy, and in the beginning I thought, okay, I'll stay here up front, but some guys out there, they were really racy, so I figured we might as well back off a little bit and see save a little bit of fuel. And I think we all did that in the team, and I think also Andreas, who I saw as being maybe our main competitor, then in the end he also backed off. So I think we were all the kind of same strategy, and well, the race progressed. It was about to get really interesting there in the end because we were on a big fuel save, and I think I was good for the end by about 0.5 gallons. My teammates, both Thomas and Matt, they were also good, I think. So that'd be interesting to see if it went to green there all the way. But no, two lap finishes. They're pretty interesting, and it's you really get nervous at the end. I'm still shaking, but I'll take P3.
Well, it did go. It went 4 wide, 5 wide. We're watching it on the screen in slow motion. You were as high as second there. I mean, so you're on the back straight on this final lap, and you are in second place behind Andreas Eick. You had no idea where your teammate Thomas Christensen was, but he was as far back as fifth on that start, and then he came off of turn 2, got a heck of a run on all of you, slid down to the inside, managed to take the position. Now, I know that you guys practice that sort of maneuver exactly in Three Crowns Racing ahead of time, but seriously, your whole team, yourself included, looking absolutely strong here again at Auto Club and taking advantage where some of the other front runners in this series did not. Can you talk a little bit about that? Was it a surprise to you to see the number of accidents that we saw, including some of the front runners just get swept up right around you?
Well, the track temp is slow, so it will be a packy, and maybe some of the guys they don't have like massive experience on ovals. It's a bit tricky, you know. If you're on a single screen, you can't really see. You got to feel your way. So it takes a lot of experience to really get going. And well, I was expecting when I saw the kind of racing up there, I was expecting a few yellows, and they came. So just gotta try to stay out of trouble. And there was one incident that was really close, I think, both for me and for my teammates. But got managed to get out of that one. So yeah, we had a plan. Like we were gonna sit back and then wait for all the cautions to clear up, and with maybe 50 or 40 to go up front. So strategy was working quite well.
It was working well, but again, you can never tell when these cautions are going to come out. And if the cautions come out and everyone takes fresh tires, you kind of have to either respond to that or not. Andreas not taking fresh tires on that last stop there for the caution.
Yeah, that was interesting.
and it's 5 laps to go, and you've got to make a spur of the moment decision on how you're going to adapt your strategy. Nevertheless, you've been doing this for a while. Obviously, Andreas and Thomas Christensen all doing this for quite a while. So you know how to pivot. You know how to be in the right place at the right time. And I'll let you wipe off some of those beads of sweat and some of those nerves after that finish.
Exactly.
Congratulations again, Jesper. Always a pleasure to have you here and part of the PMRL. Great finish for third place. Good job.
Thanks, Trevor. Always a pleasure having you broadcast for us. It's amazing. It's great. We love it.
Thank you, Jesper. So that's Jesper Orman finishing today in third spot. And we'll take a look and see. I don't know if we'll get a chance to talk with Andreas Eick, but I think we do have our winner, Thomas Christensen, joining us now. After taking some high fives from teammates and obviously kissing the significant other. Thomas, can you hear me on your side of the booth there?
Yep, I'm here, Trevor.
Thomas, you pulled one off out of nowhere. My goodness. We were calling your name at the beginning of this race. You and Jesper and Matthew Turner, everybody was looking good on the team up in the front. And yet then by the end, it seemed like half of the competitors have gotten taken out due to crashes, and you and Jesper were in the right place at the right time. Take me through your race and how you managed with Jesper to be right at the right place at the right time.
I mean, it's not a lot to say that Jesper hasn't said already, but it was very super racy, as he also said. And I mean, a lot of it was just backing out a bit, having a bit of patience, and then it came into the fuel saving strategy and back and forward. But then, yeah, I don't know if that had a big meaning, but the last caution when it came out, we decided to take tires, even if it was just two laps, and maybe that helped me to keep the car down low into the last corner there. I don't know, but basically I did a kind of move that Taylor did to me at Pocono, so it felt quite good getting that one back and getting a win here. So.
Indeed, that was reminiscent of what happened at Pocono, you getting that win just stolen right out from under you on the last corner. But this is exactly the same thing. So you're on the outside. Was this a decision you're going to try to take that run off the outside and carry it down to the inside? I mean, were you really plotting and planning for this? You got very close to Andreas Eick there as you squeezed through. We're watching this in slow motion, your move to the inside there. Was this all planned out? Did you feel like you could get that run and move all the way down to the bottom line and take the lead, or was it just let's go for it and let's see what happens?
I mean, I saw a little gap there when I was all the way out on the outside, and then I just basically went down there to see if there was any room, and he left enough room for me to go there, so I just sent it. So
sent it, and it paid off. You take the win here, Thomas. Your first win of the season with the PMRL, and it must feel pretty good. Again, now, did you, just out of curiosity, did you have any sort of damage from the earlier incident? It looked like you got clipped possibly in the Taylor Mills incident much earlier, and on our side it showed that you had damage. Did you have to repair anything on the car in the stops at all?
Yeah, I not from that incident, but I nicked the wall slightly, and I was a bit off pace. So I think it was the caution, not the last one, but the one before. I used the fast repair to fix that, and then I was up on speed again. So
I see. Well, that fast repair coming in handy. And I'll tell you who else you might be congratulating is the driver that finished in fourth spot, Matthew Turner, because Turner was on their lid up in the fence, managed to get the car completely repaired by the Three Crowns Racing IAR pit crew, only to stay on the lead lap and come back and get fourth. So Three Crowns Racing and Three Crowns Racing with IAR taking 3 of the top 4 spots. It's got to feel good to be on a team that's that good.
yeah, no, super fun. Always fun to get podium finishes for other teammates and all. And P4 format is super good here as well. I mean, Auto Club is one of the widest tracks, but it's one of the pushier tracks when it comes to aero push, and there's always a lot of incidents. So you have to just prevail in the end and stay alive many times. So.
Got to stay alive, and I mean, you took it all right there on the last lap. It was so fun for us to watch, but I know your heart was in your seat as you went off of turn 2 on the backstretch and managed to take all those positions in one go. Congratulations, that was awesome. But going forward, our last race, Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Are you looking forward to going back to Brazil and Interlagos in the Dallara IR18?
Yeah, I'm saying as I did last time. I only do the ovals, so I'm done for the season.
It's so funny. I'm so used to seeing your name up there, but I tend to forget it's just for the ovals. Well, Three Crowns Racing obviously very well represented on the road courses going forward, but that will be a heck of a battle to watch as we do watch Will Lyon, who doesn't look like we're going to get a chance to talk with today. He doesn't appear to be around for a chat. But, Will Lyon, your points leader, will take over more of the points lead over Alex Salmon. And obviously the points in the teams battle is going to be starting to get very close. We don't have the graphic to show you for that, but coming into this one, it was actually SMS Racing who was in the lead. And so SMS might just take over a little bit more of a lead there, and we look for possibly Three Crowns Racing to move up that list. But Thomas Christensen, congratulations, victorious here at Auto Club, and we'll look forward to seeing you next season, season 2 in the PMRL. Am I right?
Yeah, I will most likely do the ovals there as well, so that's going to be fun. And thanks for broadcasting once again.
My absolute pleasure, and congratulations to you. We'll let you party with your 3CR teammates and spray that champagne everywhere. Have a great time with that in your celebrations. So that is going to do it for us here on the broadcast. That was just an astounding race from beginning to end, and you watched it all live here on VirtualRacing.Network. It was live, uninterrupted coverage, commercial-free, advertising-free. And your winner, Thomas Christensen, second place, Andreas Eich, and third going to Jesper Orman. Well, as we saw just a moment ago, next Wednesday it will be Interlagos from Brazil. I hope you'll think to join us then. It'll be 8:35 p.m. British Standard Time and 3:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We look forward to you joining us then. And so, until then, on behalf of myself, Trevor Greenfield and VirtualRacing.Network and all the competitors here at the Prime Meridian Racing League, congratulations to Thomas Christensen, and we will see you next time. So for now, bye-bye, everybody.